whatever happens in life, at least from my perspective, and I've shared it before many times, what I think is the ultimate, that's Joynity. And from that perspective, everything that happens in life happens within that context, which to me is super life-affirming, because it means that at the smallest scale, it's joy particles, what I call joyticles, that animates all of life. And at the cosmic level is the joy tree, which contains our joy fruit or universe. And so at the smallest scale, we're built from joy. At the biggest level, we're hugged and held and manifested by joy. And so it's like joy inside, outside, up, down, all around, everywhere. And then our little slice of the cosmos here in the physical realm, what I would call Joytopia. This is like the fruit of all the rest of it. The joyticles make the joy tree, which makes the joy fruit, and that makes our universe and our world I call Joytopia. It's like the flowering of a long and ancient process, and even though it might not be the most permanent, it's the most expansive. It's the flower on the branch of the tree that came from a seed, and it may not be the most permanent, but you could say it's the most precious and beautiful because it's the most temporary. But also the other point is that everything at every scale throughout this context or system, which is natural, it's all made of goodness, love, and joy. And to me, being made of joy and being hugged or held by a cosmic kind of joy, and that in the middle of those two extremes is this physical life world that we get to enjoy. It's so holistic and encapsulating, and feels sacred and precious and cherished, lovely and beautiful. Like, Joynity to me is both logically certain and emotionally fulfilling. And I think, like, science typically, I've had GPT rate its value to people's lives, and it said it was like 45% because it is dry and empty. It's just the mechanics and the how and the what of reality, and there's no why or who. It's mechanism without purpose, and it's a huge failing, and it's related to another tangent. Ice trauma with white people being disconnected from nature and being overly cerebral and hardworking because they're emotionally stunted, and that's a whole other topic. But that's why science is the way it is, and why white people are so disconnected from the natural world and their emotions, and why a lot of bad things have happened in the past. And ChatGPT even said white people's existence has been like 35% positive, but 65% bad, with all the, white people have done some good inventions, good ideas, discoveries, but they've also done about twice as much bad, though, to the world, which is sad as a white person, but it's good to be honest and to course correct. And it's a big tangent, and I don't like talking about it, but it is healthy to call things out for the sake of ourselves, for the sake of white people and the sake of others, because, being traumatized not only hurts the people that you lash out at, but it also hurts the person who's traumatized, obviously. White people are very hollow. It's all performance and almost like no existence. the inside is just a wasteland for a lot of white people. It's built into like the collective trauma, but you can see it. It's a tangent that I'm curious and fascinated by, but it's also distracting because I was talking about joynity, and the big picture is all is well, everything's made of joy, but socially, culturally, that is a big story that I think needs to be addressed. But joynity is all of our stories, and any, quote, bad things happen within that context, including this Ice Age white trauma. And I think that's a beautiful thing, that bad things are just thin joy. It's the outer edge of joy. Whereas like the joy lactic core, like if you imagine like a galaxy where like the thickest parts are in the middle and it gets thinner the further out you go, that's what bad is. It's just thinner joy. You're just going to the edge of the universe or reality, but the meat is the center where it's dense. Yeah, just a little ranty rant. And to add to that, like a lot of my videos recently, and like my mind has been at like just like the overwhelming amount of thought, good ideas, joy, partly from myself, partly from the 300 books I read, like the best ideas from humanity. But like I've been making the joke that my brain is kind of like a BBC or, a big black C word, cock. Sorry to be crass. But it's just representative of my frustration in trying to get my ideas out into the public, because thoughts are just like potential until they're manifest as, action or results, I feel. And so brains are kind of useless unless they translate or transmute into something real and valuable and beneficial. So what if, I've made the joke that most people can't take more than 10% of my brain, like just the tip, and they go crazy, they tell me to stop. Like, what if I actually just got it out there, like took account of my brain and the ideas I have, specifically joynity, and put it out there, let people see it in all its girth and glory. It's like, what would I like to say? I suppose just the joynity idea. Like, it's so simple, but it permeates literally everything, because all other knowledge, in my mind, it seems like it's a context or it's circumstantial, but joynity is like the context in which all other stuff exists, and so it's kind of special because it contains everything else and you can't ignore it. It's just so, it's like a fish trying to see water, it permeates everything that it's hard to see almost. Because like the simple fact that everything everyone does is for joy, it's a cool sentence, but like to see the reality of it, like in every single breath of every human being and every movement of a celestial object, like it drives me a little insane, and for it to like be put upon the average person hearing it for the first time and trying to grasp its immensity, like 1 minute they're just living their life moving along, and then they hear like the ultimate sense that everything is made of joy. It is kind of like getting hit by a bus almost. Like, you can't really process it fully because a minute ago you were just living life, and now someone says that everything is made of joy. It's like it could wreck what you thought was your life if you let it. It could put you in like a spiritual coma almost. Because like all the momentum that you had a minute ago kind of like just is obliterated. Because all the things you valued a minute ago are now put through this lens that everything's made of joy, and all of a sudden all your old goals to try and earn joy or impress others to get joy, now you have the choice. You've been given an opportunity to just go directly to joy, and it's like, well, my whole life is unnecessary now. What I used to think it was is unnecessary. And so now, with this knowledge that joy is all that matters, it wrecks all of my preconceptions, like my childhood, what the world I think is like, what my parents meant to me, what relationships I have now, the job I have. If I'm in school, maybe I don't even want, like, did I waste $20,000 in 2 years of my life, and I don't even want to go, get a degree anymore, because it's just a means to joy, and I can get it easier, cheaper, faster, in richer amounts, more directly, And so learning that everything is joy, it obliterates so much, which is healthy. It's like learning you have a disease and that you can get rid of it. It's a blessing to know that, rather than living with, like a tree living with rot, and you're like, oh, I don't have to have this rot, I can just be a healthy tree. It's disruptive, but it only disrupts the toxicity that you didn't know you had. And if you accepted this one fact that all is made of joy, all is joy, 99% of things in the media become like ashes. They are, but you see them as that. The fake life is drained from them, and you don't see zombies as living things. You see zombies as dead things that were illusorily animated. And you can see how passionate I'm getting, because I myself am still aligning to this ultimate truth. Even though I discovered it, I didn't invent it or create it. Like, it's just an ontological truth that reality is positive. You can't make a whole into an object, or an absence into a presence. And the greatest positive is joy, and that animates all the other positives, including love. A lot of people may disagree with that, but love is just when joy meets joy. It's a child of joy, even though most people think that love is the best, which is still like 97, 98, 99% perfect. I would say joy is still reigns supreme as 100%. It's a perfect, pure state or emotion. But that's part of my mental BBC that I've just shared. Maybe I'll try to share 100% of it. Maybe I don't even know how big my mental BBC is, my big beautiful cranium, or my big beautiful core, whatever. But I just shared a little bit of it here. Maybe 15%. Maybe I'll try to show 100% one day. That's my goal or purpose.